Does the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct investigate the public's grievances about judicial misconduct? So this is part 2 of the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct public meeting. Check it out. A couple weeks ago, a whole bunch of people went to Austin, to the Texas Supreme Court building, to go testify as the public about their judiciary. And if y'all saw the first video, I explained how the chair didn't exactly know the rules about recording public meetings or hearings. This video will talk about investigations and the SCJC. Does the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct effectively investigate their grievances? So let me show you a few of the patterns that I picked up and why it's a problem. Next up is Charlie Maloof. Take a listen.
Vice Chairman, distinguished members of this commission. My name is Charlie Maloof. I'm an honorably retired and decorated Chief of Police, decorated military veteran with 29 years of service to my country. All 50 states, Texas included, established a judicial conduct organization charged with investigating and prosecuting complaints against judicial officers. During my 29 years in law enforcement, I investigated numerous criminal cases, including several international organized crime cases with multiple defendants and cases involving public officials. In all of these cases, I had to establish and present for a warrant probable cause. For 10 years, I lectured at Texas State University Criminal Justice in the upper level advanced investigations classes, teaching the making of an organized crime, which included establishing probable cause. In January 2019, in a bribery complaint to the commission, I presented evidence included a recording of a meeting headed by an employee of a municipality representing the municipality, along with documentary evidence of 2 money trails to the judge by persons who had motive, means, and opportunity, and who were directly involved in the respective criminal case, only to be told by your investigator that I needed to come back with a law enforcement finding, and then you would immediately DQ the judge. Why do I need a law enforcement finding? I know what probable cause is and handed it over to your office. You have full-time investigators. I presented evidence that would lead a reasonable and prudent person to believe that not only did a bribery occur, but under the conspiracy statute, or in Texas, law of parties, the judge is complicit in 37 other crimes. I went to the Texas Rangers only to be told, come back with an officer of the court. Why do I need an officer of the court when I have 20 years as a criminal investigator, both state and federal, and the evidence presented spoke for itself? Why pass the buck just because it's a judge? What is the purpose of this commission if you're going to turn a blind eye to legitimate complaints? What is the purpose of having investigators if you're not going to let them investigate? How can you honestly expect public confidence in your integrity and the integrity, independence, and impartiality of our judiciary? Your job is to protect the public, not make excuses why your office cannot investigate legitimate complaints against a judge. Demonstrate your integrity. Rebuild the public confidence in the judiciary and this commission. The 89th legislative session is just around the corner. Please support bills that demand judicial accountability and transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Here we have Jay Dickens.
I'm an ex-federal drug agent. Spent a lot of time in South America when we actually would go chase guys at the source. And I'm talking doing stuff. You got to have a special letter back home that says you can do this kind of stuff. And I know Miss Habersham has a big job. They got a big job out there. Before I forget, one idea, is it possible to possibly give her a hand with volunteer investigators? There's a lot of ex-cops out there like me that rather than see what's happening now, which I hate to use the word train wreck, but I got to use it. From what I've seen, it's a mess. Is there a way to get volunteers involved, professional ex-cops, to investigate some of this stuff? The ball is being dropped. I can tell you from what we filed, I had written evidence of ex parte communication, 2 different instances. Nobody even asked a daggum question about that. I can tell you as an ex-investigator, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the way these investigations are being handled. There is stuff being missed. There's critical stuff being missed.
Now we have Roy Davis.
Good morning. My name's Roy Davis. I'm from El Paso, Texas. I retired from the El Paso Police Department. I'm a retired police commander, a police executive with 21 years of service. I did 8 years as a bailiff. So I come from the inside. After 8 years on the inside, I've observed violations of due process, civil rights, penal code statutes violated by sitting judges. The problem stems from the lack of proper oversight. Real oversight with teeth, oversight that conduct true and thorough investigations, and when warranted, actually correct or remove judges from the bench. We are in a crisis where the executive branch has already lost control of law enforcement. As reform is pursued in law enforcement, the remaining branches must work in tandem to achieve any success. But unfortunately, our highest branch, the judicial branch, is starting to lose control of our judges.
So when I'm looking for patterns, I see three male individuals coming from different parts of Texas, all in law enforcement, a chief, a commander, ex-military, veteran, bailiff, federal agent. And these individuals are all saying that the SCJC is not investigating these judicial grievances. And that pattern is disturbing because I'm saying the same, except I'm not law enforcement. And then we have Taryn, the wizard. Let's hear what he has to say.
My name is Taryn Champagne, and I represent myself. Impotent, feckless, ineffectual, and flaccid are how I would describe the worthless State Commission on Judicial Conduct, which continues to consume Texas taxpayer funding while providing no benefit to the general public. This agency, staffed by a meager 12 employees, is either unequipped or unwilling to do anything to accomplish their mission of serving as a check against rogue judges who actively harm the public. The budget, as laid out in the General Appropriations Act, shows a paltry $1,485,935 appropriated for the solemn duty of holding our judiciary accountable. Of those staff on there, there's only 4 investigators. 4 investigators seem hardly adequate to handle the 925 cases that were filed in fiscal year 23, not including those cases pending at the beginning of the year. It's odd that the agency even has investigators, as it appears the investigators do very little in actual investigations. My own complaints, those others have filed, and certainly others testifying today, I cannot recall ever hearing where an investigator actually contacted a witness. Is this or is this not part of their scope of duties while doing an investigation? Your annual report seems to show a reduction in the number of cases filed, having reached a peak in 22 at 1,764 and declining precipitously to 925. Have our judges gotten more honest due to the SCJC being effective? No. The SCJC has in fact removed the ability to submit complaints electronically. Noted clearly on their website is that they do not accept complaints via online forms, telephone, email, or fax. We live in a digital age, and despite previously accepting complaints online, they've removed this functionality. If this commission seeks reform, then they need to work to restore the public's trust by actually performing their functions and investigating judges in violation of judicial ethics. This actually involves contacting witnesses, providing greater ease of access by which individuals can submit complaints and supporting evidence, and do more than holding this biennial meeting and doing nothing. I've requested notes and memorandums from this commission summarizing these meetings, and I've always gotten the same response. There are no records responsive to this request. While this commission is not doing anything, I don't think they will. Fortunately for the public, there is the Sunset Commission, which will review this board in 28 and 29. While last time the Sunset Commission may have had little access to SCJC documentation, I can assure you that next time, individuals like myself will be more than happy to provide the Commission our documentation from our complaints that y'all failed to do. I urge you to restore public trust in our judiciary instead of punting it to the next SCJC committee members as a standard practice.
Thank you, sir.
You have my testimony. And again, what do I know? All I know is that I see a pattern of a whole bunch of people saying that the SCJC does not investigate. Let's take a listen.
My concerns shared by many highlighted failures in holding judges accountable. This is the 3rd time I've addressed this commission, and the issues remain the same. Y'all don't investigate. You tell people you do thorough investigations, and I know for a fact because I have my witnesses here. I've submitted affidavits to the grievance committee. 15 affidavits. And not one of my witnesses was called. Not one. We complained about this 2 years ago, back in that back building. Y'all tell these people that you are going to look through their grievances, and y'all don't even do a thorough investigation. We've discussed these issues in the past, and it still hasn't gotten any better.
In conclusion, you see a whole bunch of law enforcement officers that deal with investigations day in and day out of their careers, distinguished gentlemen of commanders and chiefs and federal agents. But you're seeing that what they did for years, the SCJC is not doing. So it brings us to the problem. Okay. If we don't have oversight from rogue judges, then how are the people protected from these rogue judges? If the Oversight Commission can't reel this in, can't investigate these grievances correctly, what other resort do the people have? You have criminal remedy where you could file a criminal complaint on a judge, but you don't have anything civilly. You don't have anything on the Oversight Commission because they don't investigate. So basically, we're being ruled by a judge. Don't we live in a democracy where we're able to elect those people and hold them accountable to the Constitution? Those are just some of the things to think about. Okay. If the Oversight Commission is not investigating these grievances about these judges, is there really any oversight? And if we don't have oversight, what's next? Tell me what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching.